what was recommended on the guide I looked up. So again, a common bit of wood which is easy to come by, and those measurements are quite simple, so it's not very hard. If you double all of these figures here, you can target as low as 800 Hertz. So it would be a bigger unit once you build it, but again, depending on what frequencies you're targeting, it would be good. So that's what it would look like if you followed the code from that grid, and you can see it there. It looks pretty nice already, but if you varnished it and put loads of them together, then they look pretty professional, I think. Going back to affordable, I know a wood reclaiming place in Bristol. I'm sure there's a lot of other ones over the country where you can get offcuts of wood from carpenters' building sites for absolutely free. And because 2x2 is such a cheap, a common bit of wood used, then it's easily come by, so you don't have to pay very much for it. If you want to go more in depth, this is a plan I found online from archive.org, and you can actually input the specific frequencies you're targeting and it will diffuse them. So the last one was 2x2 bits of wood which are readily available. However, if you did have a small budget and you could specifically get the wood chopped for the diffuser, you could target specific frequencies, which will give you a lot more control in getting a flat frequency response in the room. Bass traps. There are lots of information and tutorials on bass traps online. Seems that YouTube has got people from all over the world who want to have their video of them making a bass trap. But it comes down to two main different types. The porous absorber, which is less specific than the other type. It will just target low-end frequencies, whereas if you use the resonant bass trap, you can target specific frequencies. So if you're staying in the same studio for a number of years, it would be worth your while buying some plywood and making the resonant one, because it would target those specific frequencies, whereas if you're likely to move around, the porous absorber would be used in a lot of spaces, and it will just keep those low ends under control. The measurements you can see at the bottom target 150 Hertz if you use that dimension plywood, 1/4 for 110 Hertz, and 3/8 of an inch for 87 Hertz. You can get really into the nitty-gritty for that and target the specific frequencies, but again, you're going to have to get the wood chopped specifically for it. So going up in budget slightly from the other options. Okay, and if you're not already satisfied, the other option I've looked up is balancing the actual room itself to the EQ on the master. So if you put your absorption in, you put your diffusers in, and then you can get Room EQ Wizard. It's a free plugin available on the internet. It will analyze the frequency response of your room and then enable you to tailor an EQ to flatten that out completely. So the way it works is, first of all, you'll calibrate your sound card, then you'll calibrate a microphone and your monitors to it. So you'll put a microphone in the middle of the room, play a full sine wave sweep into the room, and the information that the mic picks up will be inputted into this program, which has a massive range of graphs and analyticals it can do to figure out which frequencies for you to target. So to use this, you will need an omnidirectional microphone. So probably the most expensive option so far, even though the software is cheap, if you can get hold of an omnidirectional microphone, this can get a nearly perfectly flat frequency response by the end of it. Ideally, you'd want to have done all the other steps first to get it as close to flat as you can get it before you actually have to change the EQ on the music that's being sent through it. There's a lot of talk about it, how you should just get used to what differences your speakers or your room has and recognise them. However, this technique is used in live music venues and rehearsal spaces a lot, because in those specific places people do just want to have a flat response. So it does have its uses, and the software is free. So these are all things that you can do at home. And that's my presentation.